Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash. Not necessarily The Flash Season 6, but just The Flash in general. So we were in the home stretch for this season of The Flash, with there only being 2 episodes left for this season, which is pretty crazy as it doesn't seem that long ago since episode 1, even though there has been like those mass delays here and there throughout it. Time is a weird thing, anyway. But over the past couple of days, Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast had the one and only Grant Gustin as a guest, where they talked about a variety of things, which of course, as you would expect, included The Flash. Now, I will leave the entire podcast linked in the description down below. It's like a video podcast if you want to give it a listen or watch or both if you do have the time. But for now, and for this video, I will just play a little segment of it, and then we'll talk about where that takes us in the near future. So here we go. Let's watch it.
How many seasons left of Flash?
1 on my current contract, just season 7.
That's going to be a tough one when they throw money at you and they're like, hey.
Yeah, the conversations actually had started already for adding a potential 8th and 9th. And then this pandemic happened and everything has stopped. So, and we don't know when we're going back. And we didn't finish what should have been our last 2 episodes of season 6. So, and now we're not. I mean, we might do those scripts when we go back for 7 to lead into what we were going to film anyway. I don't really know what the plan is. But we don't know when we're back, and I don't know when we're going to continue the negotiation talk. So I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, there's two thoughts too. One, well, if I do sign on for season 8, 9, I'll be fine for quite a while. I might have a family, blah, blah, blah. Maybe then I won't have to worry as much. The other is like, I've done the show long enough, and I made some money, and I just want to go do my own thing. So it's kind of that.
Yeah, there's both sides to it for sure.
So in that little piece from Grant's appearance on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, he says that Season 7 is his final contracted season, which is pretty much the standard for the lead actors on the CW DC TV shows. So we saw with Arrow, for example, that Stephen Amell was going to leave after that 7th and final season on his contract, but he was enticed to come back for that final season, which was reduced, but also included Crisis. So there was half a season 8 on for Arrow. But with Grant, he was deep in talks to actually extend his contract to a potential 8th and 9th season, but then a certain virus decided to default dance its way into society and have an issue with that, for now at least. Now, in that podcast and just various other interviews with Grant, it is obvious that Grant loves being the Flash. He loves, just being this character. Sure, doing the show for so long each year would suck. Like, it's 9 or 10, I think it's about 9 months worth of filming. But he loves doing it, and I'm sure the money's good, let's be completely honest. I'm sure the money is very good. So he would be happy to do it for the next few years, I'm sure. And also, it is important to remember that The Flash, since it premiered, has been the #1 show on the CW. Supergirl was up around it when it first moved to the CW, and I think Batwoman as well was there when it started. Was there with Flash's numbers, but the Scarlet Speedster has never been knocked off his perch at the top. So the CW wouldn't be wanting it to go, and I'm sure they would be opening their checkbook in order to keep it going. At least for Grant in particular. As I've said previously, Grant as the Flash is really the only one that matters. Anyone else could leave the show and it could keep on going, but obviously Grant needs to stay for the show to stay. So hypothetically, let's just say, the Flash will end at season 9, that will be its final season. What should we expect in these seasons to come in regards to storylines? Well, let's go over that. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts and opinions on all of that, your thoughts, opinions, theories, anything like that. Just join the conversation. I'm intrigued to see what everyone has to say. Not says, because that's not English. So for season 7, it's a bit interesting, as we pretty much know what the first half of next season should be, and have also potentially already been teased, or some would even say have also just been told what the back half of next season will be as well. Now, with all of these seasons, outside of maybe the last, we should expect them to follow the same format as this season, or season 6, which is a first half villain and then a second half villain. Eric Wallace, the showrunner, said he plans to pretty much stick to that format. But yeah, with the first half of season 7, due to the cutting short of this season from 22 episodes down to 19, losing 3, we should pretty much just get what they had planned for those episodes at the beginning of season 7, which with some added things in there for like sub storylines that they also might have just had planned for the original season 7 opening anyway. So essentially, we should see a more detailed and also potentially rewritten in some areas Mirror Master and Black Hole storyline, presumably. And I say presumably because we don't know what happens in episode 18 and 19. In episode 19, Mirror Master could fall down a well, and then Joseph Carver and Black Hole are the villains that were playing for the last episodes of season 6. and then they will be who we meet back up with and that are the focus at the beginning of Season 7. And in regards to the back half of Season 7, we already have an idea of what they had in their plans for stuff in that. Whether this was their original plan for the back half, who knows? But Grant Gustin did say that the original cliffhanger for this season in episode 22 was something Reverse Flash related, might I say. And of course, they could change what is the main storyline in the back half of the season due to the delays for this season. But if we go off Grant's word, as we know, Reverse Flash is in search for a new host, and many think that Reverse Flash might take over Bloodwork's body, as they are keeping him alive and relevant, as we saw in the most recent episode. So many think that that could be the reason. You know, he's there for Reverse Flash to take over. Let me know what you think of that, because I've seen people that don't really like it. I've seen people that are for it. I'm sort of in the middle, because I think it could be potentially really cool. But then again, would he'd look like Ramsey Rosso, but be an evil speedster, he'd be Reverse Flash. So it'd be interesting, but it could be like a take on Red Death or something. No, we'll have to wait and see. But moving on to Season 8, as I said, we should expect, you know, the first half villain and then the second half villain, but I don't really have much of an idea as to who could be that first half villain for Season 8, but I would love to hear what any of you might like to have here. So think in the vein of what Bloodwork was this season. So that's what the villain would pretty much be in that first half in regards to time. So who do you personally think could work here? Like, you could argue that maybe like a Rogues thing could work there just because it's a small amount of times. I think doing a Rogue storyline is hard over an extended period of time, but in a short arc or in just like a short space of episodes, like 7 or 8 episodes, or really maybe only like 5 episodes are the focus for them, I think they could work. But the villain I would love, absolutely love to see in the back half of this season, if we are in the thinking that this is the second last season of the show, is a personal one for Barry that also focuses on the past and what has happened, and someone I have wanted to be in the show since season 2. You can even go back through my channel if you want to, you know, if you want proof to that and everything like that through videos, and that is of course Cobalt Blue. Now you would want to change, as in the comics, Cobalt Blue is Malcolm Thorne, an ancestor of Eobard Thorne, but also Barry's twin brother separated at birth. Yeah, it's a bit complex. It pretty much does make Barry and Eobard related, and I really hate that part. Comics are already like soap operas a lot, but that is literally like a soap opera thing, so you just make it Eddie Thorne with like no DNA relation to Barry, but the connection to Eobard. Now, how they bring Eddie back would be very, very interesting, but the story for him is just, you know, waiting to be used, in my opinion. Just sitting there, it's so simple. Essentially, he comes back, all he has are negative memories. He knows he killed himself to save Central City, leaving Iris behind, any form of future behind, but he has forgotten. Really, the only thing that is a memory, or like that shows that Eddie really existed for the most part, is that plaque in CCPD. Barry, however, has his life. He's married to Iris. The Flash was claimed, you know, as the hero after the Singularity incident. He saved Central City, apparently, the Flash, but it was Eddie who was the one who gave his life and saved Team Flash. They would all be dead if it wasn't for him. Barry would be dead, Iris would be dead, all of them. So Eddie, as Cobalt Blue, makes it his mission to ruin Barry's life from the outside in, starting with his, you know, his friends and then family before getting to him personally. You could argue it could be like the Flash's version of Prometheus from Arrow. I think it would be amazing if written well, and I think it's actually not that hard to write. I think it's actually a pretty easy storyline, but an amazing one at the same time. And you bring Eddie back, but as a villain, which people have wanted to see. And then finally, Season 9. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you know exactly what I would want Season 9, the potential last season to be, or the villain to be, and that is Reverse Flash. But this version of the Reverse Flash would be the one that eventually gets stuck back in the past after killing Barry's mother. Now, throughout this season, we see potentially his proper origin story and when he first comes back to the 21st century and what makes him go from Professor Eobard Thorne, originally a huge fan of the Flash, and the Flash was like an inspiration to him, to the psychotic evil speedster known as the Reverse Flash, the Flash's greatest enemy. And the series finale, the final ever episode, would be the fight that leads them to going back to that night when Barry's mother dies, where Reverse Flash is left behind, and we get a connective tissue where we find out where Barry goes after that, and we potentially get like a prologue of sorts for the show that shows the future of the Flash family over the next decades and centuries to come. It would be an amazing, fitting, and just full circle finale to the show that we have loved since the start. I think that'd be the best finale and final season to do. Eric Wallace, get in my DMs, hire me. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. That's pretty much all to go over. I'm really intrigued to see what you guys have to say in regards to this, what your thoughts are. If you want to give a detailed plan, what you would like in each season in regards to villains and storylines, let me know, because I would love to hear them. I love hearing what people would love to see. So yeah, let me know all of that in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. And show your support for the channel. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.